Welcome to Power of Pink.
I still wear big hair because I think it means you're next to God, closer to God when you have big hair.
So the next time you're interrogating a terrorist, forget waterboarding, give them around to chemo.
This is Jan peeking around, and there's Tony.
Each one of us 20 pounds lighter. 30
This
or
is
40.
when I was my biggest.
We got so much more hair. It is.
I know.
It is.
At that time.
We just all looked so good back then, didn't we?
No, I go home
And you know,
cry.
we didn't realize it. That's
I know.
what I got when I looked at all these pictures. I thought,
We
well,
did-
my goodness,
we
I
never
wish I'd
cared.
appreciated looking that good.
Being that
I don't
small.
ever remember. At the time, I didn't realize it.
No, I didn't either.
I first met Jan when my parents moved to Lufkin in the summer of, I believe it was 1958.
We first met probably through our husbands because they were both in the round table and did that and it was just immediate friendship with her.
In the 1960s, middle 60s, I moved to Lufkin, and Jan was one of the first ladies that I met. The second year, we were both expecting. I was expecting my first baby, and she was expecting her second one. And we ended up having them a week apart, and they have become, and still are, best friends.
Jan was one of my dearest friends, and I just loved her just like a sister.
Jan was a very, very true friend.
We moved and she was my neighbor and we walked together every morning and we just became such close friends. Jan was just an easy, wonderful person to know.
She called us one day and asked us to come over to her house.
She said, I've got something I need to tell you. Well, of course, that scares you to death, no matter who or where. And she told me that she had breast cancer.
Of course, we were all devastated with her and tried to do as much as we could to help her and to always be there, to take her to the doctor, to take her to treatment, just be her best friend.
And we were all very concerned, but knowing Jan, we knew that she would fight the good fight, which she certainly did, and have the good attitude about it. But everybody rallied around her because she really had lots of support, lots of friends.
She was so young when she passed away.
I helped Raymond write the obituary, which was bittersweet in a way, because she had really meant so much to so many people, and so we all just kind of rallied around her kiddos, and Raymond particularly too, because he was really wrapped up in her.
It's just one of those things you just never get over, and you can remember, you can just almost remember where you were when you heard it. And I was home, got a phone call from a good friend that said they had just found her, that she had not made it. We knew she wasn't going to make it, but there's still, you can't compare it to when you hear that there's always that hope. And it was just real sad.
Anybody that ever knew Jan would still be crying.
We wanted to do something to remember her by that was a positive thing. And that's when we came up with the idea of having a luncheon for an hour at the hospital with box lunches on our laps.
We were so proud of ourselves. We really were that we had done this. And then the next year it grew, and the next year it grew, and the next year it grew.
After a while, we decided it best that it be moved to the Civic Center, which we at first thought that was a tremendous place, big, too big to have it, but it proved us wrong.
This is our 14th year to have our Jan Moore lecture on breast cancer, our Power of Pink luncheon.
Well, it's just grown by leaps and bounds, and you can tell that, you know, if you go every year, you can see how it's grown. Knowing that it moved into Livingston with our Power of Pink, it just makes our Power of Pink make a difference in people's lives. And I'm just so excited for it to move on to other hospitals and other communities. And I just would love to, you know, share it even further.
When we started the Jan Moore Memorial Lecture Series, it was an educational event, and we talked about all sorts of different things related to breast cancer. But today, the focus and fight remain the same.
Life's about 10% what happens to you and 90% the way you choose to react to it.
I think now it's something people look forward to, and the survivors look forward to, and people living with the diagnosis look forward to getting together and having a lighter moment.
What time is it, ladies? It's time for the art bras.
I think the art bra competition is one of the highlights of Power of Pink, because there's men on the stage, basically.
Well, since you started dressing the men up in the bras, that always brings the house down. And to have men involved, I think, is a good thing.
I'm full of life now and moving on, cancer-free.
One of the cutest videos you ever did was the video where we did dance.
Walk out the door, just turn around now, 'cause you're not welcome anymore.
And the whole hospital staff participated in that. Oh my gosh, I just think that was one of the neatest Power of Pinks I've ever seen, because even though you make a fool of yourself, it's just kind of fun to watch people make fools of themselves. But we did, but it was fun doing it.
You all loved a woman named Jan Moore. Look what that love brought here today. Look what she went through, perhaps in order for this to happen.
I think Jan would be overwhelmed. She would be very gracious and very accepting of our thoughts and love for her.
She would be amazed. She would really be amazed.
We have reached so many women now. That's what I think keeps me going every year, that we reach more women. You know, it started out at several hundred there in the Civic Center, and now we go to Livingston and have the women down there. And when you reach 900 or over women, that's a lot.
Oh my gosh, she'd be so pleased with the amount of women that she's reached. You know, back then, we were all not educated to what all this would do back then. And she would be so pleased with how many lives it's touched. Gosh, I am too, because it's touched so many of my good friends and their families.
She left her mark. And anybody that ever knew her will love her forever.